As we bid farewell to 2023 and prepare to welcome a brand new year, it makes for a great time to reflect and ponder on goals for 2024. On that note, it's a great moment for a year-end assessment of our finances. Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union wants to share a few year-end money moves to set us up for success in the new year. Joining us is Nathan Calhoun, Calvine Point Branch Manager for Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union. Hey, Nate.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I can't believe we're already talking about the end of the year. I feel like
know.
I should be telling you Happy New Year already now.
Absolutely.
But is there anything you recommend with regard to holiday spending and budgeting, Nathan?
I know I come in here a lot and I'm talking about budgeting, but the end of the year, no exception. It's a very important time. Let's not forget that there is the rest of the year to go and kind of an important part of the year. You know, we're in the thick of the holiday spending. So budgeting for the end of the year, just to get us through to New Year, is a really important thing. Some people might be kind of wondering, well, how do I come up with a figure to, use for budgeting for the rest of the year? A good rule of thumb that I can offer is spend no more than 1% of your annual income. So just to provide an easy example, let's say your annual income is $50,000, then your budget for holiday spending would be $500. And if you're working it all out and you're kind of noticing that, hey, your holiday spending might exceed $500, it might be time to assess and say, hey, is this event, do I need to attend it? Do I need to lower down the budget for gifts? All of those things.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. End of year is a perfect time to do an assessment overall to kind of lead yourself to success in 2024. Look at what you spent money on. See, did you have financial goals in 2023 and were you able to meet those goals, or did you get derailed by certain unexpected expenses? What were those? And how can we use that information in 2024?
Yeah, move forward, move in the right direction, because that's what we want. So is there one big money move that is an absolute must for everyone?
Yes. I think right now is a great time to just talk about how essential an emergency fund is. Committing yourself to building up your emergency fund will set you up on the path to success. Essentially, what you're trying to do is just set aside a little bit of money every month to build. And what you're building towards is you want to try to get about 3 months worth of expenses into a savings account that is just separate. Then when those unexpected life events happen, you can use those funds as opposed to putting them on things like credit cards and avoiding the added stress of having debt to go along with those life events.
Yeah, and to that point, you mentioned credit cards. Let's talk about it, because this time of year, a lot of us are swiping the card, and I mean, it comes with a lot of incentives as well, too. So in many cases, we can rack up points. But what happens when those credit card bills arrive?
Yeah, this is peak time to use your credit cards, and you're right, there's actually a lot of benefits to using them. But at the end of it, if you are left with now credit card bills, you got to come up with a plan of how you're going to pay those off as quickly as possible. One thing I can offer is, if let's say you use multiple cards and you have multiple debts, try to focus on the card that has the highest interest rate. Pay that down the fastest until you get that paid off, then move on to the next one and the next. You can kind of see the progression. Basically, you're trying to knock down the amount of interest that you pay. Another thing I can suggest is looking out for a personal loan and consolidating your debt. This would be a fixed interest rate loan where you have a single payment per month as opposed to multiple payments. And like I say, you generally get put on a schedule where you know when it's going to get paid off. The payment amount's going to be the same every month, so it makes it easier to budget.
Okay. These are helpful tips, Nathan. Every time you come on, I'm like, okay, he makes it sound like I can do this. I can achieve this. It's possible when you break it down in that way. So let's talk about a year-end insurance review, because I'm not doing it. So why should we start implementing this?
Yeah, everyone kind of just tends to keep their insurance and not really question it, right? But it is a great thing to do, just to ask the question, hey, can I get the same insurance for a different price? And the answer for a lot of people is yes. You actually can go and shop around at other insurance providers and say, try to make sure you understand what your current insurance is so you can go to the new companies and match apples and apples and see, can you get the same insurance for a better price and set yourself up with a lower insurance bill next year.
Yeah, okay. I gotta look into that. And are there any other money moves we should think about before the end of the year?
This is where I'm gonna, start talking about, end of year, getting in that mindset of, giving to those less fortunate. It's a great thing to do, and it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But I can also add that there is a financial benefit. It can actually lower your 2023 tax bill. Something to think about, where, cash donations or even non-cash assets, things like cars or like just household items, when you donate those, there's a chance that you actually may be able to, lower or deduct those amounts against your tax bill. Everyone's situation is different. You're going to have to talk to a tax professional to know what the impact would be to you personally. Just make sure that you're keeping the receipts.
Okay.
Lastly, I would just say that if anybody out there wants more tips, financial tips or budgeting advice, go to schoolsfirstfcu.org and check us out.
All right, look for Nathan. Nathan, thanks so much for joining us today. Of course. And you can visit one of the many Schoolsfirst Federal Credit Union branch locations as seen on the screen. And you can find out more online by going to schoolsfirstfcu.org.